Hey, Brian.
Hey, Glennis. Where are you today?
Before I tell you that, happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month, gays.
Hey, gay.
Hi, gay. We have to talk about the Maine Senate primary because that primary is getting steamy, if you will. There's a sex scandal going on in Maine that I'm sure you have a take on. And
Keith is joining us, our most frequented guest now. Keith Edwards, our friend, political strategist, internet commentator, and he has one of the fastest growing podcasts right now.
we have a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. In honor of Pride Month, Meg Stalter, who is literally the queen of the world. If you don't know who that is, you're welcome. Go Google her. Dropped a single called Gay, and it's pretty awesome.
Did you watch Hacks?
I'm like season 3.
The series finale was impeccable. It was beautiful. I watched it this weekend because I was home for 24 hours because now I'm in Washington, D.C.
And I'm chasing you down there. I'm on a train in the morning.
To D.C.?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm on a train back up to New York, so we'll be like
chips in the night. What do you call an Amtrak rider? A Biden? We're Bidens on the train.
A Joe Byron.
It is primary season, and at time of recording, polls are open. It is a huge primary day in like 7 states. So it's a busy, busy week.
Yeah, you posted something that was like the future of the country is like today or something.
The future of the Democratic Party is at stake. That was in the words of Punch Bowl or Politico or something like that. But there's a bunch of ideological battles on the ballot today, and we're going to get a sense. We're going to get a flavor of where the Democratic Party is headed.
What's your flavor? Tell me. Do you remember that song?
It's
David Craig.
That's a real song? I thought it was a jingle.
What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor. Anyway, I'm a millennial. You're cusp. So let's get into it.
No, I'm fucking not. It's literal blasphemy. Okay.
Girl, I don't even know what day it is.
I know, same. For real. Holy shit. But I do know what Graham Platner looks like shirtless.
Okay, we have to talk about this. I am frustrated and disappointed in our party. There's a lot of things to say here, but I want to start with yes, we can be mad at Chuck Schumer for forcing Janet Mills down our throats. We can be mad that the Democratic Party and the institution did not find a candidate that they fully supported that was younger than 78 years old and did not have the lack of judgment track record that Graham Platner very clearly has. And what I'm most disgruntled about scrolling the internet, I'm seeing a bunch of women who are trying to contextualize and explain his behavior. And Graham just isn't. His wife is. He put his wife out to slaughter. Record this video about how it was just marital trouble and your friend, broke your trust and leaked this and blah, blah, blah. And it's just if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck.
And in this case, duck meaning
sex pest, lack of judgment. I don't know. How many things can pile on a candidate where we're still pushing him on the stage?
Wait, I think that you and I are going to have radically different takes on this.
Well,
because when I read about it, my reaction was, who cares? Who cares? Because, wait, I just want to clarify something. I read some. I haven't read everything. To my knowledge, from what I have read, everything was consensual.
Totally.
So, there was sexting going on. He was sexting with people early. It sounds like early in his marriage. But he didn't meet any of the women, and it was consensual. So it wasn't like he was a sexual harasser or a sexual abuser. Is that all fair?
Totally fair. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he has a lack of judgment, sound judgment. I'm also if you want an open marriage, if you want an open relationship, if you and your partner have an agreement that you can have as many online flirtations as you want, that's your thing. I'm I don't want to be in your bedroom, but I'm just I have a lot to say because I've been listening to all of his interviews and I have grown a little weary of him.
I told you guys that Glennis is queer, and this is what I'm talking about. Glennis is like, your marriage is your marriage, and if you want to be a slut, then be a slut. I just can't believe it's as newsworthy as it is, because he didn't have an affair. He was literally sexting. I want to be clear, I'm not dismissing the behavior from whether it's okay or not okay in the context of a relationship. What I'm saying is it belongs in the context of the relationship, and they can like deal with it however they want to deal with it. And I actually think that it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And in a day and age where the president has been credibly accused of rape and has been held civilly liable for literal sexual assault, like, he's the fucking president. I'm shocked that it has gotten as much news as it has. He didn't even have an affair. I'm just surprised.
No. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. He didn't have an affair. He was just like sexting. I'm just like, is your ego so big? You really feel like you are the guy to solve this affordability issue, and you are the guy that's going to make Mainer's life like markedly more equitable and better? It's just like, I'm very turned off by the ego of it. But as I'm saying this, I recognize anyone who runs for federal office has a massive ego. So,
I mean, that's definitely true. I feel like what Platner represents in a grander way is a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people in the Democratic Party moving away from a resume based selection process, because his resume, it does not equal US senator. It's not the resume of someone who has spent their life aiming to run for public office. And that's exactly what people like about him. And what is attracting a lot of Democrats to him is that we've run all of these lawyers and business people who seem to have planned on a public office campaign for a long time, and they were vetted the house down boots until they were left with zero personality, and in many cases no backbone, because they've been hand selected by these processes and consultants and what have you. I see a lot of people just wanting to throw out that process and say, that's not who we want to pick our candidates anymore. Those aren't the kinds of candidates that we want. They're not representing the average everyday person, and they don't seem to really get what I am feeling when I get out of my car at the gas station or when I am at the checkout of a grocery line. The people who have thought about running for office their whole life usually are not the people who vibe with that or who come to mind. And that's where I do see the connection as like, if you throw out that process, if you throw out the vetting and the hand selection by the party and the consultant class, if things get messier.
Listen, you know me, I'm a workhorse. Once we have the candidate, I'm going to do everything I can to get them elected, period. But I will also say there is something to like, he very much represents the male experience in America. Whether or not I agree with the patriarchal society that we live in that has forced men to feel a certain way about themselves or act a certain way or feel liberties around certain things, like he does represent a lot of men in that way. So there is a value in that of someone being able to say, I've made mistakes, I'm learning, I'm building, I'm in therapy, I'm building out my mental health toolbox, etc. I'm just like over it with him.
Okay, so what we're hearing from Glennis today is we need to recruit more adulterers to run for office under the banner of the Democratic Party. And that is the strategy for how we're going to bring men back to the Democratic Party. It's an original take. I like it. I think that you're onto something, and we got to find some hoes. What do you...
Well, we have the original Bill Clinton, so
yeah, we got to go...
Should he like lead a new incubator for Democratic men?
Is hilarious. Graham Platner heard Third Way or some center left group say, we got to go back to Clinton era politics. And what he heard was, I'm getting laid.
No, what he heard is basically what you just said, which is, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. I just texted her.
I just texted her.
Okay. He's such a loser, though. Like, Graham's just a loser. I'm just like, ugh, you actively chose to work for Blackwater. Okay. Anyway.
The primary, I think, is in a week in Maine.
Yeah.
And he is almost certain to win the
Yeah.
primary. Mills is still on the ballot, but that ship sailed, in my opinion, a long time ago. So he is almost guaranteed to be our nominee. I feel like this is a crazy thing to drop him over. People are reporting on Bernie Sanders continuing his support like it's
Mhm.
a surprise. And I'm like,
Right.
what? We'll see what happens. I think that in the crazy news cycle of 2026, this is not going to last more than a couple of weeks.
A couple of days. A couple of
Yeah.
days. Okay, Brian, I'm like down in the dumps. I need oath inspiration. Can you tell me about a candidate that's in your orbit that you're genuinely excited about and could potentially need resourcing?
This just in. That's my Rick Devens impression for all you Survivor stands. For our oath candidate of the week, if you will, I'm going to give
Yeah.
a shout out to Bobby Pulido, who is a Latin Grammy winning
What?
artist. Yeah, he won a Latin Grammy and is a musician who is running for Congress to flip a seat in Texas.
I've heard about
And
him.
yeah, he's like this maverick type of Dem who feels called to run because everyone that he knows is getting totally screwed and Trump treats Latino people like shit. And he took it on himself to throw his hat in the ring and he's doing great. So this is a totally winnable seat that Republicans thought that they had secured for themselves through gerrymandering.
Mm.
But because Trump has doubled the cost of everything and made many Latino people afraid to
Yeah.
go to work or leave the house, even as U.S. citizens, we now have a chance to flip this seat with Bobby Pulido. So I feel like that is a great race for people to check out if they want to help expand the electorate, win in hard to win places, and help take back the House.
Yeah, so follow him on his socials. Is he the candidate who, like, his opponent is, like, racist and was like, he's a quinceañera singer? And he's like, I'm not, but I will be. And now he's using quinceañeras to go and perform and,
That's
like, do
right.
relational. Like, that to me, that is iconic behavior.
It is.
And hell yeah.
Yeah, he just basically told his whole community, like, hey, let me know when your quinceañera is and I'll pop in and play a song using it to campaign. It's epic.
Okay. I'm in a better mood now. Thank you, Brian.
You got it.
I'm in DC. My friend texted me yesterday and he's like, I need on the boots or no, on the boots. I need on the ground, boots on the ground reporting. Sorry, it's Pride Month. I'm like, boots, house down, diva. Boots on the ground reporting to go see The Cage.
Oh my God. The UFC cage being put up, I think for like $100 million or something crazy at the White House, not to be confused with the $1 billion for the ballroom, which is separate.
You know, I have these like fantasies of like citizen's arrest, you know, like can I just like do a citizen's arrest on like a senator?
Of a senator?
No. Well, because I can't get to Trump. I was thinking about it. I used to do advanced work, so I know how hard it is to get to the actual principles.
Wait, I just want us all to play out for a second. Let's imagine that Trump's Secret Service for like the third time leaves a door unlocked or some shit, and you just see Glennis bolt into the Oval Office and tackle Trump to the ground to put him under a citizen's arrest. I could see it. She's in a camo hat right now for our audio only listeners.
Wait, I have my Proud Boys jacket here because I wore it. Like, this is.
Why do you have a Proud Boys jacket?
It's not a Proud Boys jacket. It's a jacket that I bought for the Olympics. That is by this like Beyonce wore this designer on her tour. It's like the leather Americana jackets, and I have like two of them, and I'm going to like a themed thing, like at a state fair thing. It's like right here. It's like America. You see?
Oh, yes,
And,
yes,
like,
yes.
USA.
Okay, yeah. It's giving, what's that FX show with the motorcycles? No.
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy. Yeah, it's giving Sons of Anarchy.
I was scrolling the internet the other day, and one of the Proud Boys just got out of jail, and the clip from J6 is wearing that jacket.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm like, ooh. Ooh.
No, I like it. It's incognito for you. I'm a fan. I think that it's a good look.
I have my camo. I'll have that, and I'll just like take my little handcuffs and say citizen's arrest.
Dog the bounty hunter, but it's Glennis Meagher.
Why not though? Like, honestly, isn't it my right as an American citizen? I had the freedom to do that.
It is. What the fuck are we talking about? Okay. Jared Polis pardoning that little bitch, Tina Peters.
Wait, I saw you post about this and you were like, my number one enemy, Jared Polis. Like, what's going on? I'm not up on it on the
Oh
news.
my God, I'm so mad. Tina Peters is one of the only people to have been convicted at the state level for the bullshit that she pulled after the 2020 election cycle, because she violated the voting machines themselves. She inappropriately gained access to voting machines to try to prove that there was some fraud that didn't exist in Colorado. And she was a ringleader of conspiratorial bullshit.
Is she a private citizen or was she?
She was in elected office.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure what she did was Watergate adjacent, that she gave some outside company access or one of Trump's allies access to the voting machines in an attempt to try to overturn the election in 2020
In Colorado.
And she was convicted and sentenced
What a
to
loser.
years in prison for that. And Jared Polis, the Democratic gay billionaire, I think 100-millionaire governor of Colorado, just commuted her sentence and just
Why?
let her out.
What was the reason?
What is the reason?
What was the reason?
There is not a good reason. He says her sentence was too harsh.
Excuse me?
He let her out after a bunch of pressure from Trump. Trump has been all over him because Trump could not pardon her because it was a state conviction, not federal law. And the president has no ability to pardon state crimes like murder, things like that. Like, we had her, she was held accountable, and there was no way for Trump and his cronies to release her. And then Jared Polis was like, wait, I got you. And then just let her out.
What would you say to Jared Polis right now?
Okay, well, it gets worse.
Oh, okay.
The day she got out, she goes on Steve Bannon's podcast and says, I was a political prisoner. The Democrats are cheating again in the midterms. We have to stop them. Spewing all of these lies, this disinformation, as if she has some sort of inside scoop on something non-existent when she's been in jail. Like when
what?
she's been literally in jail.
Yeah, your
some plot to yeah, right. And so Jared Polis gets censured by the Colorado legislature. Everyone in Colorado, Democrats, are furious. This was completely rogue behavior. Then he shows up at some event with his mouth duct taped shut.
You're
saying
joking
that I'm not joking, saying he posts a photo of it himself.
The governor of Colorado showed up to an event with his mouth duct taped shut,
saying that he was being silenced by the Democratic Party in Colorado because they voted to censure him over his commutation of again, I would call her a domestic terrorist, of someone who is knowingly attacking the foundations of American democracy, abusing her position of power to illegally undermine our election system, that he would make this decision and that there's nothing that we can do about it. I'm genuinely speechless.
Yeah. The thing is, like, she's a traitor. Like, she's a fucking traitor. Why are you releasing her? Like, she should rot in prison for as long as her sentence told her to. I want to look at who funds him. Like, where did his campaign contributions come from?
Well,
like,
he's like a bajillionaire. He's a tech dude, and I'd have to go pull his campaign finance reports. I'm assuming he's self-funded and apparently has a bit of an independent streak generally and just kind of does whatever. But this is so beyond for me. As you noted, I posted, I will never support him for any elected office again. He's term limited out of governor, and he was on the list. I wouldn't say a short list, but he's been on the list of people who might run for president.
Not anymore.
And no, sir, not in the Democratic Party. Not in the Democratic Party. There's no room for that.
If you could look Governor Jared Polis of Colorado in the eye and tell him one thing, what would you say to him?
Without committing an act of physical violence?
Yes.
I would tell him that I think that he has violated the trust of every single person who voted for him, and that any true believer in our democratic system and institutions would be embarrassed by his behavior, and that he should feel ashamed of himself.
Yeah. Deep shame. My question is, like, can the people of Colorado do anything about this? Or are they just like, well, you're the guy who makes the decision, so we're stuck with this?
No, I mean, our favorite movie ever, Double Jeopardy with Ashley Judd, reminds
Yeah.
us that she can't be tried for the same crime again, and a sentence cannot be uncommuted. They can go pick her up on new charges because she clearly shows intent to commit more crimes.
I've seen enough Law and Order SVU to know that when you get out, you're usually on parole, and there are rules to your parole. And I bet you going on Steve Bannon and spewing mis and disinformation about the election is violating her parole. So if I was her parole officer, I would be knocking down her door and I would be saying, "You're coming with me."
Do you have parole if you get your sentence commuted, though?
You're
I don't
right.
know.
Wow, you brought me right back down, Brian. It's not
I'm
a good day for
sorry.
me.
That's why like commutation and pardons in general are a awesome, and I mean that in the literal definition of the
Literally.
word, power that is granted to an executive, whether you're the governor or the president. It's something to be really careful with, and that should be used with intent to correct harms because, yeah, I think she just like walks.
Wow. Shame, 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 shame,
Yeah,
shame.
for real. 100%. We just have to do a quick check in with our favorite plutocrats and oligarchs of Silicon
Mhm.
Valley, where in the last 10 days or so, all the big AI companies have signaled either privately or publicly their intent to go public to IPO.
Mm.
And the valuations are out of this world, literally.
Listen, as someone who is part of a very infamous IPO at WeWork, I know a thing or two about inflated valuations. The numbers are insane. SpaceX, Elon Musk's SpaceX is 1.7 trillion. The other one's Anthropic at a trillion,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Fake news. It's just like, what? It's hard to comprehend. And then at the same time you see Blue Origin's rocket like blow up. Did you see
Explode.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw mixed headlines as to whether that was planned or not. I guess it wasn't.
I don't know
I
if you
guess
saw
it
the
wasn't.
footage. If that was planned, we need to have a check-in with Jeff Bezos.
Well, okay. There's obviously an AI angle here about the power of these companies and the corruption taking place between these companies and the Trump administration. But I also just want to point to the economic risk.
Mm,
I'm not a trained economist, but I will say we've seen the market consolidate more in the last couple of years around a handful of companies than we've really ever seen it. The
no.
entire S&P 500 is being propped up by a handful of companies that are growing at an unprecedented rate based on speculative value, that they
Yeah.
think that these companies are going to run the world and therefore people are dumping unlimited sums of money into them. Once you IPO, you sort of find out the real value of the
Mhm.
company because a handful of people, relatively speaking, can value your company at anything they want and invest in you, and that makes you worth that amount. But the market is the market.
Mhm.
And once people are able to directly trade Anthropic stock,
Yeah.
if their valuations end up being really inflated, the economy, the markets, I won't say the whole economy, but the markets could essentially crash. No?
Yes. I feel very overwhelmed by all of it. One, because it's like we're seeing these insane numbers that feel literally unreal. We see that they're all IPOing, or two huge companies are IPOing at a very similar time. I'm like, there's not enough money in the market. I'm not an economist. I just am like deeply unnerved by all of it and how fast AI is growing. I know we talked about data centers. I think we should probably talk about them a little bit more on another episode because it's worth like digging a little bit deeper on that. You made some good points about like we have to keep moving ahead with data centers because China is, and we need to be innovative and be leaders in this space. But with like the IPOs of it all, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh,
We have special guest with us this week.
we
Our
do.
friend and internet provocateur, Keith Edwards.
Hi.
Hey,
Hey, Keith.
buddy.
I like this red hat. Are you taking red hats back?
It says gay.
Oh my
I don't know if you
God.
can see.
I love it.
It's
It says
Polo.
gay somewhere.
I think that you are our first 3-time guest.
Woo! That's great. I'm excited about that.
Hardcore friend of the pod.
Yes.
Yeah, we're thrilled. Thank you, Keith. And I cornered you on the pod today. We asked you on only because I'm petty and you didn't respond to my text message.
One thing about me is I'm terrible at responding. Terrible.
No, I
I'm
know.
sorry.
Now, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really happy to be here. I love hanging out with you guys, but I'm good. I feel like things are good, right? Am I wrong? It feels like if authoritarianism was going to happen, it would have happened by now, right?
In
Am
some
I wrong?
ways, isn't it? In some ways, kind of. It's happening. I think that the situation with Trump is as bad as ever, but I think that politically our position is stronger than it's been in a decade.
Yeah, there's stories about how Trump is not sure JD Vance can take the mantle. And I'm like, guys, that's a big story because the insinuation there is that Trump is going to leave, So like that's where I'm a little like, all right.
Well, for
okay.
sure. That I
But then
agree
again-
with. I feel confident that the midterms are not going to be canceled, that Trump is not going to run again for another term. Before we get into news of the week stuff, you are a foremost expert on Donald Trump's ailments. You are
Yes.
like locked into that man's
Baby, we are
body.
locked in. Yes.
Every time there is a bruise, I'm like, I see it only from
From
Keith
Keith.
Edwards' account. Can you tell us, how is Donald Trump's health doing these days?
Well, as of the time of recording, we have not seen the president in person in 6 days.
What?
Isn't that weird? He
I
did
didn't know
Should I go
one
down there?
pre-recorded interview with Fox. With his, by the
Huh.
way, we don't talk about this enough. Lara, however you say her name, I refuse to learn these people's names because they don't deserve the respect.
Yeah.
But his daughter-in-law doing an interview for Fox, by the way. So it's been almost a week since we've seen him in person.
Didn't he also just have that the third medical appointment in like 6 months? And they're like,
his
he's healthy.
third annual checkup in the year. Yeah.
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 His third annual. Yeah, it's very bizarre. I don't know. It's like something feels not right.
You're right. What did Judge Judy say? If it doesn't make sense, it's a lie. It's like,
Quote
something
Judge
like that.
Judy.
I'm paraphrasing Judge Judy. She says it better than me. But I think everyone knows there's something going on. There's
Right.
something going on with the president's health.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why the mainstream media is not going harder on this because it's a big story. And I'm going to be pissed off if Jake Tapper or Caitlin Collins or someone else comes out with a book in 2 years and is like, what was really going on with the president's health?
You
Right.
took
You
the
know.
words out of my mouth when Jake Tapper's like, well, we knew at that debate stage, like you knew you wanted to write a book and make money. You didn't do your job for the American people and report on what you were seeing with your own eyes.
Glennis has a pressing issue for you.
I have
Keith.
I do have a pressing issue. I'm on the conference circuit, so I actually haven't been as online as I typically am. And I got back online on Saturday and I saw that there was this new drama in our, left universe. And you had commented on something. And I said, oh, okay. Noted. There is a lawsuit that is now public between a very established, respected organizer who has done tremendous work, Pattie Gonia, a drag performer. She's been in the game for, I think, over a decade, has done really awesome work for climate activism. Patagonia, the clothing, apparel, outdoor gear brand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people have a lot of opinions on this. Keith, do you have any?
Well, what's happened is that Pattie Gonia had merch that was ripping off Patagonia's logo.
Yeah.
And so she's getting sued. And I kind of feel like, what's the harm, in like a drag queen having a parody logo that I don't even think she sold for money. I think it was just a mock-up. So she's getting sued for copyright infringement. And so
Yeah. I think it's bigger than that. Pattie
What do you think
Gonia
it
isn't
is?
just a drag queen. Like, she's a very established company. Like, she makes money as her drag alter ego. The issue here for me is that it's very clearly in like infringement of the trademark. Anyone who has a trademark knows that when you file it for a specific purpose. Patagonia had filed the trademark for outdoor gear, merchandise, etc. So therefore, Pattie Gonia cannot have that. I think she was trying to sell, whether it be the t-shirt or like a hydro flask, I think was like the claim in the trademark. You can't do that. I see some comparisons online, which I think are good. It's like Trixie Mattel is not trying to sell toys, and Trixie has Trixie trademarked, or Brita Filter is not trying to sell water filters. And when you start doing that, then you have an issue. And the thing is, it protects small businesses too. Like, yes, Patagonia is this like massive company, right? But like, I do kind of feel that Pattie Gonia, very good PR person, to make this announcement right before Pride Month, then to have the online masses just totally align and coalesce behind her when trademark law does protect small businesses. Like, I could say, Brian, I'm going to file a mark for oath. Whatever your trademark is in. But if I say, like, oh, I'm going to file a trademark for oath, but they're going to be tissues, then I could have it. You're not selling tissues.
Yeah. There's like an oath that has a trademark now that's like a pizza brand that we obviously have no issue with because we're not selling pizza. But yes, I feel like the interesting thing here is the information war online, because now we're seeing Patagonia release a statement through Instagram, and then Pattie Gonia will respond with a video, and then Patagonia will like make an offer, and then Pattie Gonia reacts to it. And it's very interesting. I don't know that I've ever seen what should essentially be a court battle play out literally through Instagram news feeds rather than through court filings. It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah, and there's only like two outcomes here. Pattie drops the file for the trademark, or she loses a lawsuit. So I just feel like
she could just change her name and she'd be fine. Pattie G, like there's a million things she could do and she would be fine.
She could just not sell outdoor gear.
I think what's interesting too is a lot of this happened on Threads. Like, I think a big part of this was Threads. Yeah, Threads is how I found out about it. When I originally was looking into it, I was on her side because the way she presented it made a lot of sense to me. And then I read Patagonia's version of things, and I was like, it kind of feels like you took advantage of the situation. You like took it too far. It sounds like they had like basically like an agreement that they were totally fine with it. Just don't do these certain things. And then she did. And so it seems like they were trying to do the right thing. And the way that they explained how copyright is, like, if you don't protect it with everyone, then it makes it hard to protect it when bad actors do it too. Because the more parody there is out there, the harder it is for your copyright or trademark to be defended in court, because they're like, well, do you really own this? Is this really something you own? So I get that. I just think it's just, I actually think it's just so boring. Who cares? There's so much going on. I think it's probably a net good for both of them, to be honest. And also, like, can we just say Patagonia? They didn't fucking come up with that name. That's like the name of a place.
No, I know.
It's that too. Right. You know, that's where I'm a little like, come on, guys.
But they're not filing to, I can't believe I'm like defending a corporation, but like they're not filing it to like say we own Patagonia. They just own the name as it relates to their services that they're providing. Like Arizona Iced Tea doesn't own Arizona. They just own iced tea with the name of Arizona. I hear you. My issue also, to Brian's point, to zoom out, I didn't realize it started on Threads. That makes a lot of sense.
That's where I saw
a lot of sense. It's just like how the online like Greek choir is just like saying all of these things and blindly trusting a person when there's actually law that exists that does protect them as citizens as well. I think it was an interesting learning moment for like digital media writ large, of just like everyone needs to get a grip and take a beat and read a book, something about like how law works.
Crazy.
And then let's move forward. It was giving like a little like MAGA mob energy to me a little bit.
Well, I love when people trust creators without any thinking. That works for me.
Yeah. You're like, but it's me.
I like that. Well, I don't think that's bad.
Yeah.
Patagonia has been in my DMs. I never responded though. I think she wanted a date. I was just like, I don't know.
Well,
Keith is back on his.
I can't even respond to Glennis, Pattie.
I know.
I want to hear if your thoughts have changed at all around the gerrymandering battles, because I feel like you and I have.
All right. Well, I will say, first off, for everyone listening / watching, I wasn't aware of this topic until 5 minutes before recording. I didn't come with any facts or knowledge. Okay, so I'm coming into this fresh, no lube. Okay,
we're not debating. We're not going to debate you.
All right.
I just want to know what you think.
I don't want to debate, but I will just say this. I'm going to say this, and I really do mean this. You become the thing you are fighting if you try to use the tools the enemy does to win. And I don't think it's the right thing to do. I think that the main criticism of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party is that they're both the same. And when shit like this happens, I'm like, well, you're kind of right. What happened to persuading voters? Why can't we explain to voters, hey, Republicans are trying to rig this. They don't even want your vote. They're trying to rig it. And we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to try to ask you to vote for us because we do want to change this, but we also know that it's wrong. That sounds persuasive to maybe I'm dumb. That sounds persuasive to me. I understand why they're doing it, but raw power, this like Lord of the Rings is about this.
I was gonna say Batman
or whatever. Just seeking raw power doesn't ever work out in the favor for anyone. So no, I'm against it. 100%.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand your argument, and I think that I was more in that lane before, but I've switched from a means focus to an outcome orientation. I want a national ban. I want a national ban on gerrymandering, and I'm not being picky about the means to get there. Keith, leave us with a hot take on AI, data centers, Graham Platner.
I don't think most voters care about AI because most voters don't make enough money and they don't work in fields where AI is actually going to affect them. So I don't know. Where I come from, people don't have careers, they have jobs. And I think most people who have jobs aren't so worried about AI. So I think it's a hot topic for us. I don't think it's a hot topic for the average American worker. And Graham Platner looks hot in the picture. Let's just say it. He looks hot. Like, I'm like, okay. I saw that. I was like, well.
Vote secured.
Woo! I don't think people care about texting like that. For me, I'm just like, you do not have to be perfect to go into office now. That's kind of how I feel. Whatever Donald Trump did, I think he broke a lot of things. I think that's probably one of the better things he broke. We're all people. We all have complicated lives. We're complicated people. We all have histories. That's okay. Now, I don't know if there's been growth there, but I certainly don't want shaky ass Susan Collins in there for another 6 years. I reckon Tremor ass self. I can't. Like, get out. You are too old. You are too old. And by the way, she doesn't believe in anything. She just wants to stay because I don't understand this thing where people just stay for so long. Like, you are not the only one who can do this job.
Correct.
Maxine Waters, you're not the only person who can do this job.
And in fact, you're definitely not the best person to do this job anymore.
No, probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, you just like basically in 90 seconds had the conversation that Brian and I had about Graham Platner. My thing is like growth and judgment. Let's see.
But I mean,
I'm like,
whatever.
Who gives a fuck?
Who cares? Also, Neera Tanden, get off the internet. I used to respect you. Like, get off the internet.
Is she taking swings at Platner?
She's taking swings at everyone. She's responding to accounts that don't have real names or real faces on their profile.
Well,
like,
Keith,
what are you doing?
I
don't even do that.
Thing where like strategists or people in the industry feel like they have to step into the content creator role. It's like very like disingenuous and weird to me. I'm just like, people have their lanes. Like, maybe stay in them.
Yeah. If you're in line to serve in the next administration, stay in line.
Stay in line. Keith, we love you. Oh, I didn't say happy pride.
Oh, I love you.
Happy pride.
Happy pride.
Glennis is so
happy pride.
I know I'm not.
First pride without Charlie Kirk.
Oh my God. Oh.
Won't be the
sad. Rip.
Performative gay rights.
Gay rights and gay wrongs.
Mostly gay wrongs.
Mostly
over here.
This gay is always wrong.
Thanks for coming on, Keith. It's great to see him.
Bye.
Okay, Brian. So that's the vibes for this week. We really talked about a lot, but we will be here next week for more vibes.
And we'll still be gay, mostly Glennis, because it's Pride Month. There's so much going on, you guys. You gotta stay positive, stay focused on the things that really matter. It's gonna be a very crazy election cycle, as we can see, just day after day of wild headlines. So make sure you come back next week and we'll help you check the vibe of what really matters in American politics and what you can ignore.
And don't forget that tomorrow, Friday, our full episode with Keith Edwards will drop everywhere you get Vibes Only the podcast. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, however you get it, we're going to be there.
There was definitely some spicy stuff in there, so make sure you tune in.
It's giving pride.
Like, comment, subscribe, listen, follow, baby. We'll be back here next week. See ya.
See ya.